And that brings us to Tim Tebow. Because you can't talk about the Steelers without talking about Tim Tebow, right?
Can't talk about the NFL without talking about Tim Tebow.
All right. One key offensive matchup for the Steelers. A-Roz, go.
On offense or defense? Sorry, I didn't hear that. Offense. Okay. Well, now that Rashard Mendenhall is out of this game with the possible tear in his ACL, it's going to be Ben Roethlisberger. How can his high ankle sprain, hold up against Denver, who's got a very good edge pass rush, with Elmas Dumerville's 9.5 sacks, Von Miller's 11.5. How he fares against those two, because we all know Big Ben's strength is extending the play and throwing on the run outside the pocket. Now, without your top running back, and basically you've got one of the best receiving corps in the NFL, how you're going to be able to extend the play against a team that prides itself on its pass rush? How can he match up, and can he play up to his full strength? He played all right against Cleveland, completed about 57% of his passes, was out against St. Louis, and of course before that, the last full game he played was that 20-3 Monday night loss in San Francisco. So he hasn't been healthy for weeks, but is that going to be enough against Denver in the high altitude, in Mile High?
Yeah, and on the other side of the ball, Denver's not doing a lot of things well right now. They're still playing pretty decent defense. What are those keys?
Well, Ben Roethlisberger, it's the same thing. You talk about Ben Roethlisberger offensively. Denver has to get to him, but not just get to him. They have to force him to put it, not only sack him either. You got to force him to put it on the ground, and you got to force him to throw interceptions. If you wrap him up and he's able to shed you like we've seen him done so many times, that's the time where Mike Wallace or Antonio Brown's running down the field.
Right, but the reason I was shaking my head is because he's kind of not able to do that much lately. With that high ankle sprain, he's not extending the play.
And that's the thing that Denver has to be opportunistic about right now.
Exactly.
Because a high ankle sprain or not, Ben Roethlisberger is who he is. Mm-hmm. And he's going to try to extend plays. He's going to try to shed tackles. That's when you got to force the turnovers. You got to get the ball in great field position. If Ben Roethlisberger is able to shed those defensive ends off him, that's when Mike Wallace or Antonio Brown runs down the field. That's when the game gets broken open. You can't let that happen. You have to bring him down every time. You have to gang tackle him, and you have to force those turnovers to get the field position. Because with the way Denver plays offense, field position is everything. Because it's going to be Matt Prater field goals. So
Superman.
You have to get the ball in Matt Prater's field goal range.
What a goal! Well, let's stay with you. Let's stay with Denver. Let's go to Tebow.
Yeah.
Talk to me about Tebow. Talk to me about Willis McGahee. Talk to me about this offense.
You got this two-time Super Bowl winning quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger. We already know about him. Tebow does the same thing that Roethlisberger does. He holds on to the football way too long, thinking that something's going to open up. He can't do that in this game. I think one thing that you got to try to do, and this I've kind of bounced back and forth on, of course you're going to have to throw the ball at some point to win this game. They ran for 202 yards against the Kansas City Chiefs and only managed 3 points because, they had no passing game. I think right at the very beginning, you're either going to have to get Tebow comfortable by throwing, I'm talking behind the line of scrimmage passes, just to get some completions under his belt and make him feel confident. Either that, or just start attacking from the get-go. Start going deep from the get-go. But he's got to get rid of the ball. He's got to make 1 or 2 reads and get rid of the ball because he's not shedding James Harrison, who's coming back in this game. Lamar Woodley's coming back in this game. You're not breaking those tackles from the number 1 defense in the NFL. Troy Polamalu playing all the way up against the line. You got to go deep to Demaryius Thomas and to Eric Decker, or you got to throw quick screens to get confidence. Either way, he has to throw the ball more than the team runs the ball because Pittsburgh's not going to let him run it.
And let's talk about what Pittsburgh is going to let or not let them do, Roz. Anything?
I agree. I agree with Tad. They're not going to let him rush the football. And what makes them great is the guy you mentioned. It makes them from a really good defense to the steel curtain, and that's safety Troy Polamalu. And now, as good as he is, as great of a player he is, his importance in this game is even heightened now that their free safety Ryan Clark is out of this game because, of course, he's got a sickle cell blood disorder, so he can't be able to play in the Mile High Stadium because, of course, last time he played there in 2007, he got sick off it, and it was just very bad for his health, so Mike Tomlin decided not to play him. But Polamalu's going to be...
removed. Yeah, well, his organs started to harden.
Yeah, he had to get his organs removed.
Yeah. Good decisions.
Yeah.
So Polamalu's importance is going to be heightened in this game. And the biggest matchup is him locking on Tim Tebow. Because if you look at the way Tim Tebow's played in all of his starts this year, he's had his ups and downs, but the one constant thing I've noticed with him passing the football is he tends to lock on receivers. He doesn't look guys off. His progressions aren't what they probably should be for an NFL quarterback. I think Troy Polamalu could prey off that. And when he said earlier with guys like Woodley and Harrison stopping the run, I think Polamalu is going to really take advantage of this and jump on some of the routes of these receivers and really lock on Tebow's eyes. So Troy Polamalu is the biggest X factor in the Steelers' defense and possibly the game because it could really change the way Denver runs their offense.
Yeah, I actually do kind of think this one's going to be close. I have a feeling there's going to be a chance, an opportunity for Tebow time again. I kind of see a hard-fought, slog-out defensive battle.
And this is because of all the injuries, probably, that Pittsburgh's having to deal with. You got Ryan Clark can't play. You got guys just coming off of injuries. You got injuries offensive line. Injuries in the running game for Pittsburgh.
Isaac Redman, we'll see what he can do. Probably not much because Denver has a great defense.
Fumbled twice in the fourth quarter against Cleveland. Remember that, too. They have a rookie, John Clay, out of Wisconsin. I think he'll probably get a lot of run in this game as well.
And we also have to remember that one of the things that made Tebow time possible, Tebow time, brought to you by no turnovers, is what it was. But now he's turning the ball over.
But he's fumbled in 6 straight games. So even though he wasn't throwing picks earlier, he was fumbling once per game. He can't turn the ball over even once in this game.
I mean, he's thrown 4 picks in the last 3 games, and it was 5, and they took one away from that Bills game. He took 4 picks.
But they changed it into a fumble.
Right. So, so it's still a minus in that category.
Now, let me know what you guys think about this. I know Denver, when they've had success, it's been the field position game. They got a good punter. They got a good field goal kicker. What they do is even if they go 3 and out, they punt the ball, they get good field position, and they keep moving back and forth that way. I think in order to beat Pittsburgh, you're going to have to take more chances than you have. I think you're going to have to throw the ball, even if you get picked off. I think you got to go down, because most people think that Denver's going to go down in this game. I think that. I'll let that out of the bag right now. I think Denver's going to go down in this game. I'd like to see them at least go down swinging, attempting to throw the ball downfield, because if there's one place you could attack the Steelers, it's at the cornerback position, it's downfield, and the safeties are going to be up in this game.
I think Pittsburgh's going to win. I think the stat, more than anything, is like the biggest tell-all. Tim Tebow has completed 47% of his passes this year. And you look at NFL history, the last 50 years or so, there's only 2 quarterbacks in NFL history with at least 200 attempts have done worse. Akili Smith in 2000 and Mike McMahon of the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, if that doesn't tell you anything about how Tebow's going to play in this game, that's it right there. And I think this Steeler defense is going to prey off that. And they're going to make Tebow throw this ball. And I don't think it's going to look pretty. It's going to be close because of Ben's health and all the injuries Pittsburgh has. I like Pittsburgh in this game. They're only going to win by 7, but I think the Denver offense is going to be as ugly as it was last week against Kansas City.
Dad?
I think Denver should attack as much as they can. I'd like to see them throw the ball a lot. I'd like to say this is going to be an exciting game. I think it's a shutout. I think it's something like 23-0 Pittsburgh. I really think they're going to completely keep them off the scoreboard.
Only 3 points last week against the Kansas City Chiefs, which is a good defense, but this is the Steelers.
Number 1.
We're talking about here. I'm going to take the Steelers as well. Although if there was any time over the past 3 years where a team like the Denver Broncos, and I mean like the last 3 years for the Steelers, could beat the Steelers, it would be now. When they don't have Mendenhall, when Ben is not 100%, this is the time when they could capitalize, because I do think it'll be close. And listen, if some stuff happens, like in that Bears game, some of that Tebow stuff, then I don't know.
Or an Eddie Royal punt return for a touchdown. Some things get set up like that. Against Kansas City, and I think this is interesting to point out, they only got 3 points against Kansas City.
Yeah.
They got those 3 points when they started the drive in the red zone. Remember, I think they got a punt fumbled. Javier Arenas, the kick returner for Kansas City, fumbled a punt. They recovered it on maybe the 18 or 15-yard line. That's the only time they got 3 points.
Right. So the offense is just stagnant. And they're riding a 3-game losing streak right now.
Yep. You're right. This is the most vulnerable Pittsburgh playoff team we've seen in a long time. I don't think Denver has what it takes to do it, but I think
other teams might.
I think Baltimore, this really bodes well for Baltimore, who's always had trouble beating Pittsburgh in the playoffs. They'll host Pittsburgh if Pittsburgh advances. I think this really bodes well for Baltimore.
Ben should have been sitting for the past 3 games.
Ben could probably sit this game and they could win, honestly.
I know, which is why I still don't understand why he continued to play.